Okay, let's rock and roll. It's always like to start on time, and so letting everyone know what's going on. So tonight, what we are going through is certainly for me the best thing that I did last year by quite a long way, actually. So let me share my screen with you, and it's all about the Investor Summit at Sea. So let me start off with a little story just before we kind of get going here. Two things happened to me which are really important. The one is I did my Enneagram and wealth back in September of 2024. And what they said to me is that I said, I'm feeling really flat. I'm not living life anymore. I feel like I'm in a rut. And it was Karen Wallman that sat with me and said, well, Scott, you've got to get more in your seven. You've got to go out there. You've got to be around people that you're inspired by, that you can learn from, that you can grow from. And so I embarked on a journey back at the end of 2024, and it really helped me kind of get out of my rut. And there's that classic saying of, the 5 people you hang around with is who you become. And I always used to do it. When I look at some of the most successful times of my life, it's when I was going to Necker Island with Richard Branson. I was spending time with Roger Hamilton in Bali. I was going to America with Dr. Dolph DeRoos. I was going to America and Fiji with Tony Robbins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I kind of went through this period of, I don't know what you want to call it. Call it a poverty mindset, also call it being around the wrong people, and them kind of seeing it as just an expense, but not actually seeing the value in terms of the personal development. In May last year, I think it was May last year, I was invited to speak at Success Resources with Robert Kiyosaki. Now, Success Resources is the biggest speaker platform in the world. And it was interesting because we were on stage and I was thanking Robert in front of, there were, I don't know how many people there, over 1,000 people there. And I was thanking him on stage for the impact that his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, had on my life. And obviously so many other people in the process. And at the conference, or whatever they call it, the speaker room afterwards, him and I got to be able to speak one-to-one. And I was telling him about the impact his book had on me and subsequently the book I'd written and the impact that that's had on others. And he literally turned to me, and the guy has it on camera. You've all seen it 100 times, and said to me, you should come to my investor summit. It's effectively, 130 of the top investors from around the world, and I'll be there. I've been going for over 10 years, and I was like, okay. I was like, when is it? What is it? Like, I didn't know anything about it. And there were a lot of reasons not to go. It was $10,000. It was, it was less than a month's planning, for our team. Obviously, it was quite a big disruption. I'd be away for the best part of close to 2 weeks. And there was a lot of umming and ahhing. I know Alex is here with me, and I'm sure Alex can remember, there was debates at a board level that, everyone was, don't do it. Everyone internally was, don't do it. All my business coaches, my business partner, Jaco Moritz, all of them would do it. They know exactly what fires me up. And the only reason I tell you the story is because I hope that you too will get to experience it, because I decided to go, and it was the best experience of my 2025 by a long way, by a very, very long way, country mile. And I consider myself quite intelligent. And yet in many of the presentations, the information was really sort of, I was grasping at straws. It was here. And I like that because it really taught me so much about the world that I didn't know. I mean, if you think about how, as an example, gold and silver has blown up, I never even consider gold or silver as an asset. It doesn't pay an income. I didn't really like it. I remember learning all about gold and how, the reserve banks around the world were buying gold, and that silver normally has a ratio, and it has for 2,500 years, of 15 to 1. And yet at the time it was 93 to 1. So that's an ounce of silver to an ounce of gold. And this guy, Mike Malony, I've got all the books here, so I'm just going to share stuff with you. This guy, Mike Malony, is like basically the grandfather of gold and silver. This is the most read book in the world when it comes to gold and silver. He studied the monetary system around the world. And that's just an example of a few of the opportunities that and the people that I met. So what I wanted to do was, I'm mainly here to answer questions, but I thought what I'd do is I'd start by showing pictures, and then we'll actually come back to the curriculum and everything in between. So I'm not going to go through all my pictures because it'll take all day, but let's start off with just my favorites. So this is arriving in Miami. So you basically fly into Miami and Miami Airport, and then this was the very first night. So I arrive at the hotel, and this is Veronica Tan. So she runs Success Resources. This is Douglas, also Success Resources. And then these were two people that came from Singapore. And then this is obviously Robert Kiyosaki. And this is a lady that is, she basically is getting mentored by Robert Kiyosaki. So like, I was quite excited. Like I got to sit at the table and I was like, oh, I get to meet Robert, properly. And little did I know that that was going to be happening, all day long, basically. So, that day I was like, oh, can I have a selfie? Which happened to be the best selfie I got in the 9 days. And I was so pissed off with myself because I wasn't wearing my Wealth Going Global t-shirt. But anyway, it is what it is. This was the very first day of the event. So the way this works is that it's actually a 9-day conference, but the first 2 days are in a hotel. So you're in a hotel in Miami, and you get this really kind of detailed workbook, and it's got all the agendas and everything in it, in terms of the whole sort of breakdown of how it all works. Actually, I'll stop sharing quickly, so if I share, you can see what I'm talking about. So what I was showing you is that you've got the whole event overview. You've got all the faculty members, which I'm going to talk to you about just now. Boom, boom, boom. What am I looking for here? I basically wanted to find you the agendas. Oh, where's it gone now? Okay, so on the Friday, we arrived and we had a registration. So that was just everyone meeting everyone. It was a bit of fun getting to know everyone. Then on the Saturday was the first day, and we had a full work session on that day. So we started off with I'm just going to go through some of the topics. So it was like meet all the speakers, and then there was an opening class session. So that was Hall of the Ambassadors. That's where they took you through everything. Then there was the summit here. I'm trying to look at what all these things were. Boom, 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 boom. And it doesn't actually have what all the topics were. Oh well. So the first 2 days was extremely detailed. And what happened there was there were a couple of speakers that came in that couldn't come on the boat. So that's why they do 2 days, because if people can't come on the boat, then they speak there, and then the rest all come on the boat. So, day one was Robert Holmes that runs real estate radio and has done for plus minus 30 years. Took us through the whole real estate, where the market was. Then George Gammon took us through Rebel Capitalist and interest rates. We had Brent Johnson talking about the difference between America and China, and whether China was going to be a massive challenge to America, this whole changing world order. We had Brian London talk about gold. He runs the gold newsletter. You had more gold. There were 7 gold people there that are the best literally in the world, apparently. In terms of the gold panel, we had Dana Sanderson, Peter Schiff, George Gammon, Brian London, Mike Maloney, Robert Kiyosaki, and Brent Johnson. We then had a thing on real estate niches, and looking at all the different areas of the market that we should be looking at, and specifically the commercial market and the challenges within the commercial market. So that was all on day one. Day two was the future of the USD. So they were talking about the future of the dollar in terms of where the markets were going. There was a massive panel with regards to that entire session and what that would look like, which I found absolutely fascinating in terms of that process. Now, that wasn't a full day, because on the Sunday, we actually, I think we broke at about lunchtime and we went off to get on the boat. So let's just look through here quickly. There is Robert Helms, and that there's Mike Maloney, the gold and silver guy. He's the real estate radio guy. I'm not going to bore you. I've got lots of slides. I don't quite know why these slides managed to get into my favorites, but I'm not going to bore you with these ones. That was George Gammon. Yeah.
Then no, you're sharing.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Okay, let me just go back. So yeah, that was Mike Maloney and Robert Helms. So Mike Maloney is the grandfather of gold and silver, and then Robert Helms is real estate radio. He's the guy that runs the whole thing. I'm not going to bore you with all these slides. I've got millions of slides, but I'm not going to bore you with them. That day was George Gammon. He gave one of the best presentations I've ever heard on the whole between America and China and where we're going with world economics. But I can tell you one thing, for a man that actually understands economics, and I think I know what I'm talking about to some extent, it really, really took me a lot to, it really, really challenged me. So this is all about America and the debt and taking on China. This was the gold panel. This is the most experienced gold panel, according to these guys, ever put together. It's 7 of the most respected people globally around gold and precious metals talking, and it was interesting how they how they argue with each other as well. It was quite interesting. This was the faculty in general. Just me sitting with the faculty. Boom, 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 boom. I don't think we need to go through all the panels. That was Veronica and I. Rebel Capitalist. Who was that? Was George Gammon, Rebel Capitalist. Sorry, the other guy wasn't the picture I brought up there wasn't. It was this guy here. Where's he gone? Brent Johnson. He was amazing, Brent Johnson. This guy is George Gammon. The other guy was Brent Johnson. Now we're going on the bus, and now we get onto the boat. So this is actually the boat. So you get on the boat in Miami, yeah, that's us leaving Miami on the boat. Obviously the pool and everything on the boat, the jacuzzi's upstairs. I don't know if you've ever been on a boat. This was at night. You can see I like the elephant. That was the back of the boat. So we were on a boat called Celebrity Beyond. I seem to think they're going on the same boat. There's a benefit to this boat. It's not a family-friendly boat. So it doesn't have all the kids' slides and all that stuff. So it tends to be more mature adults. So you don't have thousands of kids running around. I won't bore you. That's the boat again. So Celebrity Beyond, that was our boat there. This just gives you another example. So every sort of breakfast and lunch, I would sit with Robert Kiyosaki and Veronica and I think her name's Chu. I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but anyway. Yeah, so just lots of comments. Funny enough, this was the table where this was the very conversation where I said to Robert Kiyosaki, you've democratized access to financial education. So your book has democratized access to financial education. We've democratized access, full stop. And he actually said to me, please show me. So at another one of the lunches, I actually took him through Wealth Migrate in terms of the whole process. This is leaving Miami. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know why I've got that. Again, just more social pictures. Lots of social pictures. Me making videos. I don't know why I've got so many of these. So that was Mike. That's Mike Malony. I think the important thing to point out here is when you go to a normal conference, you get no time to talk to people. Whereas now you're there at the conference for 9 days and you're stuck on the boat for 7 days, 7 nights, 7 days. And so it doesn't matter who they are. You really get to know them, meet them, get their numbers. I've got all these guys. That's Peter Schiff. Just by the way, Peter Schiff, who was also an incredible guy. Firstly, he came in on his own private plane, which I found interesting. He called the crash in. So you see this book here, The Real Crash. He called the crash in 2008, and is, you know, he speaks on all the big CNBCs and all the big financial Bloombergs and all of them. He's quite a doomsday kind of guy in terms of where the world is, but it's fascinating to get a context of where the world is and what he kind of believes in. This was so you get to play the cash flow game. So Robert was talking about where the world was, and then we actually had I think one or two sessions where you play the cash flow game. But anyway, he did lots of speaking as well. I think you get the point on the selfies. You kind of don't need more selfies. This is Ken McElroy. So Ken McElroy is the rich dad advisor for property. He did $1 billion, or he wanted to do $1 billion last year. I don't know what he ended up on, but he was on 500 million at the time. And it was really, really interesting because he actually manages 10,000 apartments for Robert Kiyosaki. So he's Robert Kiyosaki's property guy, and he specifically specializes in multifamily. Very interesting guy. I've also got him on WhatsApp, and I'm trying to get Wealth Migrate to invest in one of his deals. So we're actually working on that as we speak. Okay, these are just some pictures of the Bahamas now. So 3 days, of the 7 days, there's 3 times you stop on islands, and they don't have lectures all day. So just to be clear, it's a very good balance between having fun, learning, meeting incredible people, and exploring. And each time they go to different islands in terms of where you're going. So just sort of pictures that I took when I was at the beach. More present. So this is one of the places they do the presentations. It's got the biggest LCD screen in the world. So we basically did a number of talks and presentations in here. What am I looking for here? So that's Ken McElroy. That you can see I actually gave him my book. I took 5 copies of my book and gave it to the 5 most people that I thought would add the most value. This is a room. So just by the way, when we talk about rooms, Douglas and I stayed, we're a bit like the Irish in the Titanic. We were downstairs, so you don't have a window. So you're kind of indoors. Whereas Veronica stayed in a suite above. So more space, a window, etc. So I'm just showing you the difference. You can stay downstairs. My logic, and again, I'm not speaking for anyone else, but my logic is always, I'm not going to spend much time in my room other to sleep and have a shower. So why spend money on it? Although I'm saying that Veronica's room was very nice to chill at, to see the view and everything in between. This was a fun evening. So this was what's it called? You had to, oh man, what's it called? You basically had to do a skit. So I happened to take my Zoom. The World Cup was coming to your country. Sorry, let me just show you quickly. I need to get my sound going for you. So anyway, so this is a skit. I did a skit. None of you knew that the World Cup was coming to your country in 2032. Alex, please do. Tomorrow, please can you help me? We need to sort this out once and for all. It keeps swapping. It's bloody impossible. Okay, let's try again. None of you knew that the World Cup was coming to your country in 2032. So I'm here 7 years ahead of your World Cup to teach you how this works. So this outfit here is the Springboks. We own more World Cups than anyone else on this planet, and when you have a World Cup, you actually have to invite other countries to your World Cup. You've got 7 years, but don't worry, Donald Trump has put an immigration policy in for Afrikaners, who are the best rugby players in the world. So right, I'm about to give you Impi, which is the Zulu dance, and I would like at least 5 men to come join me, please. 5 men. I need 5 men to come and join me for the dance, please. 5 men. 5 men to come join me. I can't do it all on my own, because as Zulu warriors, so now this, I'm not going to bore you. We will not dance for all 4 minutes because I'm a terrible dancer, but we are going to enjoy this song for a little bit. Anyway, I think you get the point. You might even see me do a little kick dance over here somewhere along the way. Here we are. I don't know where it is. A bit further. There we are. Anyway, so just lots of fun. This was the group. So this was the full group. There were 130 of us. One of the biggest benefits, I think, of going to this is you meet other incredible people. I met the self-storage guys. I met the MedTel guys. I met probably 15 incredible people. So you're meeting, people are spending, a decent amount of money to be there. Most of them have been going for many years. They're an incredible community of people. You can really trust them because they kind of almost have like a social proofing part to them, which is really, really amazing. So you're not only, I think there's 15 faculty members, and the rest are guests. They take about 20 to 25 youth. So that's people below 25. They give bursaries to. So let's say there's maybe 90 investors, but incredible people that I met, basically. I think that's the pictures. That's Steve Streetman. So he's the guy that wrote this book here, which is Cryptocurrency and Blockchain. Cryptocurrency and Real Estate. So he's one of the speakers. I'm going to get to the mastermind. I've actually reached out to him. Yeah, more panels. I think you get the idea. Panels. This was actually me showing Robert my Zulu dance. And then also I had my laptop there. That's when I showed him how Wealth Migrate works. I was trying to get a selfie of him looking at Wealth Migrate, but it wasn't really working so well. Unfortunately, no one else took a look at it. There you can see Wealth Migrate, and I was trying to show him. And he was actually amazed. He was very impressed by it. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's it. More lunches, more dinners. This was the interview that I got with Robert, which I don't know if you've seen. I think that's probably enough, actually. Yeah, that's enough. Because now we're going into rugby pictures. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to just take you through the website here. So the dates are the 13th to the 20th of September. So basically what that would mean, depending on where you're flying from, South Africa, England, wherever, you would land in Miami on the 13th. So I landed at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock. It doesn't matter. The Friday that you land is as I say, there's got cocktail drinks in the evening. There's nothing important. And then the presentations only start on the Saturday, and then you go on the boat on the Sunday. And then you get off the boat the following Sunday, and you can actually fly home that Sunday night in terms of the process. So just a couple of things that I think are important. Firstly, if you want to go to the itinerary, you can go read all about the itinerary. But in simple terms, well, firstly, here's where they're going. So it's like they're going to Puerto Plata, the British Virgin Islands, which, by the way, is where Richard Branson is, and then St. Kitts. So that's kind of you can see the trip there. And then on the final day, we go all the way home. So it'd be quite nice for me because I also haven't been, like they go to different places all the way through. But you can basically see here. So we are going on the same boat. I thought so. And then you can see here, like this is the Dominican Republic. So it's very, very beautiful places. The British Virgin Islands, Tortilla, and then St. Kitts and Nevis, which, by the way, is a very, very famous place in terms of the process. So I think you just get a feel for kind of where it's going. You can go take a look at this. Under the faculty, I've spoken to quite a few of these people already, but let me just keep talking about them. So Robert Holmes is the organizer and the real estate guys radio. Peter Schiff's the guy that I was telling you about that, is basically, well, firstly, the guy owns his own private plane. He didn't just hire a suite on the boat. He hired an entire apartment with bedrooms. Ken McElroy is the real estate guy. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, hopefully you know who he is. George Gammon. So he's the gentleman that I mentioned. He was incredible, talking about macroeconomics between America and China and everything in between. Ted Sutton is a lawyer, so he talks about how to, all the legal things of how to do the legal stuff in America. Brian London, that's all about gold and silver. Dana Sundelson, also gold and silver. He runs the gold something newsletter or something that's been going for 30 years. Steve Streetman, so he's the cryptocurrency. So he's all about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and real estate. Him and I got on really well. He's a really interesting guy. RJ Burr, he talks about oil. So I'm actually trying to get him to come out to the Wealth Weekend. And, really, really interesting guy. I really enjoyed spending time with him. Jason Hartman is a very well-known podcaster and real estate guy in America. Keith Weinhold, also a podcaster in the real estate, so all about real estate. Scott Sanders, he basically talks about a 1031 exchange. So that's how you can defer your taxes when you invest in America. Mike Malony is the gold and silver. Brent Johnson, he was the milkshake guy. Sorry, George Gammon was the rebel capitalist or whatever they called it. Brent Johnson was the what does he call it? The dollar milkshake theory. Fascinating guy when it comes to macroeconomics. Elizabeth Trask was also a lawyer, I think. Yeah, they were attorney. So she also took through legal strategies and structuring and all that. But I think you just kind of get an idea of everything. If you want to go to the FAQs, there's a whole FAQ here that you can go read about it in terms of everything else. And I don't actually think there's really anything else that's here that's relevant. Okay, no, I think that's probably everything. So the way this works is that when we were there, as I said, there were about 130 people there, and there were only 7 people that weren't from America. So it was me. There were about 5 people from Singapore, and I don't even remember. It was basically me and the Singaporeans that were the only people that weren't from there. And so we said, look, we would love to invite some of our mastermind members. Like, I think it's an incredible experience to learn from some of the best in the world, to network and have fun with them, and again, it's not just meeting them once. You're on a boat with them for 9 days. And then equally to meet other incredible investors. And there's a reason these people go back every single year. Most of them have been going for 5 to 10 years in terms of the process. And then the third thing is to have a world of fun. Like, the boat is so much fun. It's fully inclusive. So all the drinks and the food are included. Like, so you don't have to worry. Like, there's no extra money you don't have to spend. It's brilliant. And obviously seeing like really beautiful places as well. So for me, I went to the organizers and I said, hey, is there any chance that we could promote this and let 5 of our mastermind members come and participate? Originally, that we got an opportunity for 5, so 5 people to join me, and they said that they would keep us because the problem is there's a lot of people that come back, and so it's actually quite hard to get into it. We have had Shaniqa spoken to the mastermind members, and I think there's 7 people that are keen. Obviously it'll be a first come, first serve. But I still think if push came to shove, I'd really be able to, well, I'm sure I'd be able to try and negotiate if I can. But I just think it would be the most incredible experience for us to do together, where we go there, we learn, we have fun with others, we get to see the world. And the one thing that some people say is, yeah, but Scott, it's 9 days. And what was fascinating is these incredible speakers. Do you know how much these speakers get paid to be there? Just type in the chat box, anyone? How much do you think these speakers get paid to be there? Anyone? Yeah, Archie said zilch. They don't get paid
like anything. $1 million?
Yeah, they don't get paid anything. They don't get paid anything. And what's even more interesting is they pay for themselves to be on the boat. They don't even get sponsored to be on the boat. And that said a huge amount for me, because you've got these incredible people giving up 9 days of their life, sharing, having fun, and they don't see it as like work. They see it as coming and learning and collaborating with other incredible people. And the reason they come and give up 9 days of their life, and because they and pay for themselves, is what I find really interesting is that for 9 days, and so like the self-storage guy that a lot of you met, Claire Hoover, I asked him, I said, do you do many of these conferences? He says, no, he just does this one every year. And I was like, why? And he said, because he gets everything all in one place. It's total immersion for 9 days. You're learning from the best in the world across all the different asset classes. And there's just nowhere better where you're going to get it all in one place. Even to the point where, believe it or not, one of the reasons they go on the boat is because they can actually talk about stuff without being worried about regulation and compliance and all that stuff. So you really get people just talking from the heart. They have fierce debates. Quite frankly, some of them don't like each other, which is clear, because they obviously have different opinions, etc. And that's really the option. I've put up the poll for you guys. I know that there's a couple of things to think about. One is that I don't know if Shaniqa's here, but we do need to try and pay a deposit as soon as possible. I know that there was a deadline by the end of December, that if you paid by the end of December a $2,000 deposit, then you got the price at 2025's prices. I did beg and plead with them that could be extended for our group, because we haven't been able to. Shaniqa was having her wedding in November, and we just weren't able to do it before December, this presentation to people that are keen. But we will, Shaniqa can assist you. We will need to, if you are keen and you want to lock in 2025 prices. I don't know exactly when she's agreed it. I assume she would have asked for a couple of weeks, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is. But we put down a $2,000 deposit to secure our spot. and then the rest will be paid. From my experience, if you've got a sharing room down in the cabins without a view, then it's 6,000. And if you've got like a room with a view and a window and all that, like Veronica had, it's 8,000. But you do need to that is sharing. Okay, if you're not sharing, there is, and it did have the prices on here somewhere. I can't remember. Let me go and try and find it for you. I don't know where to find it. Anyway, if you're not sharing it, you can have a room on your own, but you pay a little bit more for a room on your own. What I would recommend for us mastermind members is that if there's some ladies coming and they want to share, we should tell them that because that'll keep the cost down. If there's men coming and they want to share, then I would recommend that as well. Again, you literally just sleep in the room. Or, okay, maybe just me, but I literally just slept in the room. I was out all day having fun with people, meeting people, learning, and or having fun at night. And by the way, there's a huge amount of activity. It's non-stop on the boat. There's shows, there's magicians, there's theater shows, there's every single night there's activity going on. In fact, one of the things that I had to I just went full on because I would have fun at night till 1, 2 in the morning, and then I had to go and study the whole day next day. Okay, is there a unique supplement? Is there a single supplement? What is so Archie, I think what you're asking is can one go on one's own? So all the rooms, to my knowledge, are sharing. And I know that I shared with Douglas because it just saved us money. But like I said to you, you can pay a little bit extra and get the room on your own, if that makes sense. So you don't have to share. It'll all be on the form that Shaniqa can get for you. So if you guys are keen, just fill in the survey and Shaniqa will send you the details. I came today to talk about my experience and why I think it's so valuable and why I think it'll be the most incredible thing. Guys, I've done conferences all over the world. I've literally done it all. Not being arrogant, but I really have done a lot. And this was right up there with Neck Island with Richard Branson. So the caliber of people I met on Neck Island with Richard Branson was phenomenal. This was a similar type experience with incredible people, incredible knowledge, incredible scenery, incredible life experience. And it was much better than going to Tony Robbins, just to be clear. So Tony Robbins Business Mastery, which cost me $50,000 in Fiji, this was much better than Tony Robbins. Okay. George is excellent. I watch his YouTube. Yeah, so George Gammon is amazing. Was Tom Wheelwright there? No, he wasn't, but his son was there. So so if you look here under the itinerary, not itinerary, faculty. Faculty. No, wait, hang on. Faculty. Oh, it wasn't. No, sorry. It was Ted Sutton. He's the son of the older Rich Dad advisor. So no, Tom Wheelwright wasn't there. Any other questions? Please put your cameras on, ask questions. Anything else that I can help with? Please fill in the poll and let me know if you're interested to join me. I don't have, for the person, I don't know who the person is that said need more information. Obviously, we would have to, there's not much more that we've got. Like we've got the website, we've got my own personal experience. We've obviously got the booking sheet with the exact prices, but I can tell you it's about $6,000 because that's what I paid for a room downstairs, and it's $8,000 for a room with a view, and that's all inclusive. So that's the one thing that I really want to kind of emphasize, because it's important for me. Often when you go on these trips, you spend a lot of money, and then you get there, and every time you drink a coffee or a beer, it bloody kills you. And the nice thing is everything was included. All the food's included, all the drinks included, everything, even ice cream. Alex, you know me well. It was a nightmare. There was ice cream everywhere. And that's just lovely. It makes it so much, it's just so much nicer. Someone was asking about, or not asking, I forgot to mention, what we are considering as well is I've done buyers trips the first buyers trip I did in America was in 2012. And I was doing them on my own in 2010 and 2011, but in 2012 is the first time people came with me. And I know nowadays we're much more sophisticated. We've got Wealth Migrate and it's commercial property and it's not buying houses. But there have been people that have said to me, Scott, I'd love to come with you. and come and meet the partners on the ground, etc., etc. So what I was thinking was, for those that are keen, if you want to, we can extend by a week. So we'll go from Miami, and we'll probably go. We'll look at, between the people who are coming with me, we'll decide where we want to go. But my thinking would be that we go to Texas, and we deal with the team in Texas, because that's where the data center team is and everything else. We'll probably go to California, because that's where Mag and Judd and a number of them are. And then we'll either go to Atlanta. I would strongly recommend, well, we will probably fly in and out of Atlanta, so that's not a problem anyway. We might go to New York. So we might go and meet the team in Manhattan, New York. But from my experience, doing 4 cities is too much, certainly in 1 week. So 3 cities is the right way to do it. So we might have to cut. We might even run a poll between New York, Atlanta, California, and Texas. Yeah. So Archie, I mean, in simple terms, what I do with the buyer's trip is we will fly, as I said to you, we'll fly to 3 different cities. We go together. I organize the partners on the ground, so we meet the partners. We go look at physical opportunities. But mainly it's about being on the ground, touching, feeling, meeting the partners, getting a sense of who they are. It's a little bit different from what I was doing 14 years ago, because 14 years ago, we used to get in a bus and go and look at 50 houses, and then we'd go meet the management agents, and then we'd go meet the lawyers, and then we'd go to the bank and open bank accounts. With Wealth Migrate, you don't have to do any of that anymore. So now it would more like be get on the ground, understand what's going on in the markets, meet the partners, hopefully go and actually see the buildings and get a sense of it. But like I said, if people didn't come with me, I might even just do it myself and do videos, etc. But yeah, it's always fun. I mean, these kind of buyers trips, and I mean this investor trip. So something else that I think is important here is that someone was asking me about the wealth weekends, and are we going to do them in different places all the time? And we made a decision. The answer is no. We're going to consistently do them in Neisner. The reason being is it's cost effective, it's cheap for everyone to attend. We're not trying to make a big profit out of it. We just wanted to be, obviously, firstly, we wanted to be cash flow neutral, because we've lost money at wealth weekends before. But in simple terms, we bring in Garth, it's easy for them to get to, and we teach people at the wealth weekend. Then once a year, we want to do a really nice experience that we can go to. And ideally, the Investor Summit's the exact example of that. So we're not creating the experience, but we go be part of it. I know, Archie, you've done Mind Valley as an example. Like maybe one day we do something like that. But we're going and learning from other speakers, other experiences, and we're going as a group, and we're just having an incredible life experience together. So that's this year, our life experience is the Investor Summit in terms of that process. And then the buyers trips, I'm still trying to get my head around the buyers trips, because they're not, when it's commercial property, it's slightly different. And I mean, we can go to Austin, Texas and meet the guys that do Austin Business Finance. I'd love to go and see them and meet them. But there's nothing to see. It's a debt lending company. Like we'll just see their head office or something. So yeah, but anyway, if there's appetite, I'd love to do it. I think getting out in the world and meeting people is one of the greatest things we can do. So any other questions? Archie, did I answer your questions? Any other questions for anyone?
Yeah, sorry, Scott, just one other, yeah, thanks, Scott. Sorry, just one other question. When do you need the deposit paid for the Investor Summit?
I'm not 100% sure, Archie. I know that they originally wanted us to do it before the end of December, because of that was the deal for all of us people that booked last year got first dibs, and they gave us till the end of December. And Shaniqa and I have been communicating, and I said to them, look, Shaniqa was getting married in November. I just didn't have capacity to do this as well. And then obviously December, we pretty much ran out of time with Christmas. So I've got permission from them that it will be at the same price. Let's just say the next 2 or 3 weeks, Archie. I'm not 100% sure. It's not like in 24 hours, but it's not in April. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. I'm definitely interested, Scott. I'd love to go and do the Investor Summit. So
well, brilliant. I think you and I will have an incredible time. And the other thing that's important, Archie, I think I've told you about this, which is a very clever thing, and I don't have my name, but I don't know. I've got my name badge somewhere, but I don't know where it is. But you also get, so when there's 130 people that come, they put a number on for when you signed up. So if you sign up and you're number 23, then you're the 23rd person that signed up. Now, Alex, by the way, I know you're online and you can listen to this because this is flipping clever. So when they do, I'll bring you up, Alex. So when they do breakaways, so sometimes they do breakaways like at lunch, and there's only 10 people can go to that breakaway, and or they do like a conference and it's in a room and it can only hold 30 people. The way they do it, which is so clever, is that then it comes down to the number of when you booked. So what they would do is in the morning, they would say, right, we've got these sessions on, and numbers 0 to 30 can go and book first. And then once they're all done, then numbers 30 to 60 can book next. And then numbers 60 to 90 can book next. Now, by the way, I was 86, which meant I got to do some of the stuff, but quite regularly I didn't get to do what I wanted, like if that makes sense, you know. So there is an advantage to booking. By the way, even though I was 86, I think I was 130 when it comes to actually paying. I literally paid like 24 hours before. But because I'd come through Veronica, I think I was 86. But anyway, it's quite a clever thing. There is an advantage to booking early. And ideally as a group, if we can kind of do it together, then we'll just be higher up that ranking, and it'll allow us to have more flexibility. All the main presentations you don't have to worry about because they're all in the big auditoriums. This is where they do like breakaway lunch sessions. Because again, what's so fascinating is it's not all about Robert Kiyosaki or Peter Schiff. Like the guy that does the self-storage, Claire Hoover, you know, he ran a session over lunch on self-storage. Now I tried to go and have that lunch. I couldn't get in. And it was someone else that then introduced me to him at the bar, and we had a long chat at the bar, and you know, we got on really well. So
Scott, just quickly, I just had a look at emails that's been going back and forth. So Cara has suggested that it's sooner the better, within the next month, basically, was what she's suggesting, just to kind of make sure that you get the cabins booked and so on and so forth, because they are filling up quickly. So
yeah.
that's
fine.
just
That was I agree with you, Alex. I'd kind of say 2-3 weeks, end of Feb at the absolute latest. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
if we're wanting to get 2025 prices, otherwise we're taking the piss and they won't do it. You know. Here, Archie, can I answer Archie? Benna said, can we take our wife with? Definitely, Benna. So there are a lot of people that are there that, you know, either the wife is the investor or the husband's the investor, but the other person's just come for an amazing experience. Like, to be honest, I've never been on a cruise before, ever. And, you know, I really enjoyed the cruise part. While everyone else is lying around the pool and having fun, we're all for going sitting in an auditorium learning. So I don't think any partner is going to have any issue with being there. It's a spectacular holiday. And obviously, if they want to join and you know, sit in, then they obviously can. Buyer's trip should be with Ken McElroy. Good idea. No reason why I can't ask him. So that would actually be quite a good idea. I like that one, Richard. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a great idea. Do we book online? I'm not sure, Alex, if you actually know the answer to that. I know Shaniqa was like, I know I did mine with like a PDF form and stuff. I'd say Benno, if you're keen, maybe just let Shaniqa coordinate tomorrow for you. I mean, I've got no problem if you book online. I just want her to coordinate. So yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what to tell you. I don't know what.
I think the best probably just speak to Shaniqa, because she's got the email and she's no Cara, and there's a rapport and there's relationship and everything. So I think that's probably the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah, and I think just the reason I'm defaulting is, firstly, I hate admin and I'm very bad at it. And secondly, what I've asked Shaniqa to do is to kind of project manage this between her and Cara, so that, because otherwise, if me and Alex and everyone's involved, then we'll be like headless chickens. It won't work. Because again, ideally, Benno, I want us to be able to kind of almost be together as a group, because then that'll allow us to, if we want to go to do. I mean, obviously anyone can do whatever they like, but if we can do it as a group, that'll be to our benefit. Well, think about it when we do the. And by the way, anyone who comes, we're going to have to think of our skit, because we're going to be like the only international people other than the Singaporeans. By the way, Veronica and them also bring a group from Singapore, but it'll basically be us internationals versus the Singaporeans versus 120 Americans. We'll have to think hard about our skit. But anyway, as you can probably see, it's an incredible learning and experience. You're meeting incredible people and you're having a hell of a lot of fun all at the same time. Any other questions? Plus the tax incentive. Yeah, well, look, I mean, obviously, should probably also try and meet up with Tom Wheelwright. Oh yeah. Like I don't know him. I mean, we can try. But I mean, you can. I mean, the one thing with the Investor Summit, if you're investing, you can, depending on where you do your tax, but you can write off this whole trip to tax. It's business. As long as you're investing in America, then you can write it off. Okay. Anything else from anyone else? I feel like Alex, I'm sitting here with stunned silence. What is your comment, Alex? I know you haven't done something like this. I know you and I are fiercely negotiating between each other. I'd really like Alex to come. I think it'd be an incredible experience for him. So we might or might not be able to get Alex to join us. But yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on what I've said, Alex? Obviously, it's a lot of talk. I didn't come with a structured presentation. There is no way to really, present. I just wanted to show pictures, explain who the speakers were, and tell people why I think it's valuable.
I think we had hundreds, if not thousands, of people last year talk about it, and reach out and ask, for your white papers and the booklet and everything, and everyone's like, wow, I wish I was there. And I think the community, I mean, we talk about events every day of our lives, about getting in a room and talking about wealth, talking about lifestyle, talking about personal development. And what better way of doing this is with like the creme of the creme, or the top of the top. So yeah, so I think that this is a great opportunity, and may this be the first one of many other types of things that we're going to be doing like this. Because again, like you said, we'll do our wealth weekends kind of in a very structured way, and then we'll do these just call it lifestyle type of events at least once every year, and then we'll just grow from strength to strength. So anyone that actually wants to go and enjoy the time, and there was many people that said last year, so we've now got a recording. We'll make sure that we transcribe it and make sure that we share it with everyone and make sure that they know how to do it. And we'll make sure that there's links in the emails or in the white papers to click to find out a little bit more. But I think you've summarized it quite well, Scott. Maybe what we should do is also add a few white papers into the docs that we'll share, just to give everyone kind of context of what was actually the outcomes of all the time that you spent there. All the education that you went through and the fun you had. There's two sides here from my perspective. There's the fun side that you got to spend time and rub shoulders with people and get in that mindset. And on the other side, you got the information, and you could distill the information, actually put it on paper, and again, share it with the world. I think that's the symbiotic, yin yang type thing. So it's the fun and it's the exciting part of building that education side. So
I did that.
I mean, that's my insights.
Yeah, I mean, as you're right, Alex. And I mean, I went and I did summaries on every single day, and I created white papers. Now, to be fair, I only did them on the talk that I thought would be the most valuable. So let's say I did it for 7 or 8 talks. There were, I don't even know how many sessions, 30 or 40 sessions. That I have them all recorded. I just didn't have the time to go and turn them in all into white papers. But it's just the most incredible information. Understanding interest rates, and if you basically, in simple terms, if you're interested in investing, I have yet to go to a place where you've got such a cohesive group of different people from all different angles talking about all different things. And by the way, arguing with each other. Some people say you should be investing in gold. Some say you should be investing in Bitcoin. Some say you should be investing in real estate. The other says you should be in oil. Someone says you should be in the stock market. But that's the beauty, is they're debating with each other. They don't all agree, but then we allowed to then make our own decisions.
Yeah, and also, it's very rare that you get so many asset classes that being discussed at one place. So I think that's the key thing here. It's not just you're going to a conference to talk about property or talking about Bitcoin. You're getting all of the asset classes literally that there exists. So yeah, I mean, that's literally what it comes down to. The community asked for it. We're now sharing it, and it's up to you. If it's of interest, let us know, and then we can take it from there.
Cool. So let me wrap up with the final comment. I have said it, but I want to repeat it. This experience is so valuable that these speakers, Robert Kiyosaki, Peter Schiff, George Gammon, all of these people, pay themselves to be there. They don't get free accommodation. They don't get paid to be there. They pay to be there themselves, and they give up 9 days of their lives. That's how valuable it is to them. I know how valuable it is to me, which is why I'm definitely not missing it. And I hope that you can see the value for you and that you'll join us in September, because I think it's going to be an incredible experience. But other than that, thank you to everyone. Thanks for joining. And we will see you tomorrow night if you are interested. Those people that have been asking about the final opportunity, we're looking to close out the Calio round. I know Archie and I were talking about this in the next couple of weeks. So I'm just doing one final presentation for those that have said they were thinking about it or interested or whatever tomorrow night, before we wrap up in the middle of February. Okay, everyone, have lots of fun. Have a good night. Bye. Thanks, Alex, for coming.